welcome to the what? It's the next topic of the subject.
You get
What's
diesel.
next, man?
So look,
What's next?
let's start with Wilder, then we can go to Fury, because I mean Fury's got a whole bunch more, dynamic things that could happen. Even though I'm pretty sure there's nothing. So you're Deontay Wilder. What's next? First off, hold on. Before I even ask that, how brutal is boxing?
But
How brutal is
especially,
the sport and the people of boxing mainly? In saying the statement leads towards this: 42 wins. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I get it. Most of the time in boxing, some of you don't actually start fighting people till you're 20-0. You don't actually start fighting people till you're 30-0. It don't matter. Does not matter. 42 wins. My man lose one time. They like, yo, retire. You ain't got it. You terrible. You sorry. And like you look at MMA, and you look at all these guys that are on top. Some of them got 3, 4, 5, 6 losses. You look at Israel Adesanya, who has taken that loss to Jan Blachowicz, right?
yeah,
We ain't out here like, yo, you ain't got it. You got to retire. It's over. If he goes out there and he tries again, or he goes out there and something happens, maybe he loses to Bobby Knuckles or something, that's 2. Like a Wilder's lost to Fury twice. We're calling for his retirement. We're calling he's done. He's done, son. Like, how brutal of a sport is that we're just willing to, that one loss on your record just absolutely just kills your entire career. Huh? I don't get it.
that doesn't make any sense, man. Doesn't make any sense, man. Put 5 minutes on the clock, man.
She
So we can
counting.
talk
She
about this
counting.
now. Man, I feel like Wilder himself, man. I feel like he reinvented himself in this fight right here.
Yeah.
And when I mean reinvented himself, I feel like he's put himself in a different different realm of boxing, because when you watch Wilder fight before this fight, you see a slugger. You see a backyard boxer, a backyard fighter who's always waiting for that one moment. And sometimes that one moment doesn't come until late, and he always looks like he's going to lose, or most of the time he looks like he's going to lose because of his style of fight. He's going to hit you with that right hand, and you're going to go to sleep, and then he's going to celebrate afterwards. This fight right here, I seen that he the willing to learn how to box. And even though sometimes watching this fight after the fifth and sixth round, I was like, oh my goodness, when is Fury gonna knock him out? Wilder always has that heart of a champion, and you can't take that away from him. Now, to speak on what's gonna happen next for Wilder, you've been at the top. You've seen those below you fall, and understanding that it's the person that's at the top now is somebody that you can't beat. Anything else after Fury is just money fights. That's it.
Yeah.
And the only way you get back on top is either if Fury retires, or Usyk or Joshua beats him.
You know what? You know what's bad for. You know what's the worst thing that ever could have happened to Deontay Wilder?
What?
Anthony Joshua losing.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because that could have put his name back out there. Because if Anthony Joshua beats Fury,
Even the other way
or
around. Even the other way
or
around.
yeah, or if uh
Fury beats
Fury beats
Joshua
Joshua
and
and if
cements
Wilder,
himself number one.
yeah,
We would still sit and watch Wilder
Wilder versus
for
Joshua.
the number 2 position. We'd still watch
Yeah.
it.
It still can happen though. It still can happen.
It's a lot of moving parts
If
though.
Joshua beats Usyk, which I don't understand how Joshua got to the point where he's at now, and losing to a fighter he's quote unquote is not supposed to lose to. I don't understand how you train hard, you put the work in, you go into the fight with a game plan, and Joshua's a smart guy. Joshua fights smart, but it just doesn't seem like. So you lost to Andy Ruiz, should have lost that fight.
Mm-hmm.
Usyk, good fighter, should have lost that fight. You get a rematch against Andy Ruiz, you beat him by just boxing. You beat him on points. And then Andy Ruiz doesn't come into the fight being the same hungry fighter he was before. Usyk, you come back, you get a automatic rematch in your clause. You're supposed to beat him. You're supposed to get your belts back. I just don't. He's it's too up and down for me. So like Fury, he takes it to his opponents. The only fight that he was supposed to win that he almost lost, it was because of a cut. If it wasn't for the cut, then he would have won that fight hand down too.
Yeah.
So I don't, when you elite and you on the top, you supposed to beat those below you. And the one thing I can say about Wilder is he went to the top. He didn't cross that he didn't get past it, but you could see that through all his 42 fights, it was leading up to him being or fighting somebody at the top. And
Yeah.
he fought that person at the top, but he just didn't get by, man. And that's less fortunate for him because I feel like I said in the last Fury versus Wilder that you see on the screen, I feel like if he had another 40 seconds, it'd have been a totally different outlook about the whole situation. But what's your take on it, man? What's your take on it before we get into your boy Fury?
So when it comes down to it, Aaron said in the comments on the Trash Talk page, said Joshua will never beat Fury. I hope they get to meet. It's the most wanted fight over here in the UK. Well, a couple things you got to unpack with that too is that when it comes to your Anthony Joshua, all the big guys, we do this, and for rightfully so. You take a loss, everybody wants your throat. They want you to just quit boxing and go live in a hole, freaking do nothing. That's what they want. So we avoid these big fights so much that they take the chance of losing the big fight, and that's what Joshua did. Joshua lost these big fights. We didn't get to see Joshua Fury. We didn't get to see Joshua Wilder. We didn't get to see that, and that's most unfortunate. Even if Anthony Joshua beats Usyk to come back to fight Fury, he don't get there. But the thing is, we thought we didn't know what to think in the first Fury versus Wilder fight, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we was all excited about it.
Got magic too. Got magic.
We now have an idea of how this Anthony Joshua Fury fight is going to go.
Yes.
Takes all the magic out of it.
Yeah. Because we seen two people beat him.
And so look, take this. I hate to put him on the chopping block, but the wild card in all of this, the only wild card I see in all of this is if was trying to get back in the win column, Wilder, and took a fight against Andy Ruiz and lost. And then Andy Ruiz is like, I'm gonna make another run at it. I'm gonna come back. Maybe he beats Andy beats the Murderous Row, beats Wilder first, comes back to beat a Anthony Joshua who beat Usyk. Or maybe he beats him after he fights Fury. But then again, how long is Fury gonna fight?
Fury ain't got that many years left on him, man. Unfortunately.
And what's crazy about it, he 30? He young.
I think he early 30s. I don't know if he's
maybe
30.
32, 30, 32.
I think he early 30s.
But like he's young. But look around. He's looking at a throne, and then he's looking at the first step down to his opponents, and he goes, "Damn, it's like 15 steps before they get up here." Like,
unfortunately,
there's nothing for him to prove.
No.
There's nothing you can say.
No.
There's nothing you can say about him going down in history as like one of the best. And the story from where he came back with the depression, and he was like almost 400 pounds, and come back and he's still marking everybody. If he retired now, would nobody say a word?
No, not a word.
If he retired now, when they say what's next for Tyson Fury, nothing.
There's
there
nothing
ain't even a young prospect. Is there a young boxing prospect that's coming up that we don't know about that could soar to the top of the game in the next year? No, it's only the three big people, and
Mm-hmm.
the three big people, two of them have two losses. One of which is the Tyson Fury twice. The other one should have taken these bigger fights whenever they happen. You know,
Yeah, man, they were talking about Joshua fighting Wilder what 5, 6 years ago.
years ago.
I wish it would have happened then because I feel like it would have put boxing on another level. I wouldn't say on a new map, but a bit on another level. And then with Joshua or Wilder winning that fight, going into Fury coming out of the depression and losing all that weight, and then Fury coming up through the ranks for those 2 or 3 years, I feel like it would have brought more eyes and more attention to boxing because now you got three heavyweights that want to fight each other. So you can only commend Wilder just trying to fight the tops of the tops and fighting Fury, and then just telling himself and then believing in himself like, hey, I'm just as good as this dude. Even though I lost the second fight handily, I'm just as good. There was some things that happened in that second fight that I didn't like, and there's some things in that second fight that I didn't feel like were fair. And I feel like if I got a third one, I can make it fair.
Yeah,
So I mean, what's next for Fury in my eyes? Money fights, just like I said, Wilder. It ain't nothing but money fights. Because anybody he fights now, other than Wilder, I feel like he's gonna beat easily. The only reason why Wilder has a chance, because he has that right hand, and if he can go into the lab before he gets 40 and figure out how to set that right hand up and how to throw other punches to set the right hand up and how to move his body in different areas so that he becomes missing. And then all of a sudden you see the right hand or you don't see it and his opponents fall asleep because of that. All it needs is one caddy to the trick. You know what I'm saying? He's a one trick pony, but if he had a little caddy to go along with that trick, he would be. I think he could have a possibility of beating Fury, but we'll never see that Fury or Fury Wilder 4 because that ain't never gonna happen. Because even Fury put it to bed like, hey, that chapter is already closed and it's never gonna reopen. But it could,
it's a long road to get
it
back.
could if Wilder beats Joshua. I feel like look at this. If Wilder fights Andy, beats Andy. Wilder fights Joshua, beats Joshua. Then we gotta see Fury Wilder 4 because that's who you got to fight next. That's the only way we see that. Only way we see that. But hey,
That's a long way. That's some years.
I feel like Wilder got his 40 million, put it in the pocket. Let's ride. That's
Just
all I'm gonna
throw it
say.
in the bag.
Hey, hey, to become a meme like that, I got 40 million to cry on. Shit, I'm happy with it.